I'm live. That's my parakeet. Actually, he's a budgie. So if you're hearing that, he's one of my favorite things. Today, in about 4 minutes, we'll get started. But for right now, I just want to make sure I was actually doing it right last week. I fumbled around for 12 minutes trying to figure out how to make the live thing happen. But I figured it out. This is now live on my channel, Fairies from the Swamp by me. So I am trying to get everything settled in. Yeah, I've got notices everywhere saying that I'm live, so that's cool. I will not have an easy time trying to read any comments, but if you want to, you can go ahead and comment. I see 2 people are here visiting. It's good to see you, although I can't see you. Put a little comment so I know you're here. Today, I'm going to talk about and display and feature all of my work that isn't dragon eggs. I do all these dragon egg adoption events, and I hardly ever get a chance to talk about my favorite things to do, which are make sculptures. I'll just hold this one up to show you to start. Like this little girl here. I don't often get a chance to make these guys. There's such a great demand for my dragon eggs that I don't have time to do anything else but them. So it's kind of nice, this COVID-19 ridiculous, horrible thing that's happening in the world. It's kind of nice to have the time. I would like it to be under different circumstances, but at least it's giving me time to do other things. So it is almost time for me to officially start. So I'm going to have a little sip of coffee. Go get yourself some coffee. Go to the ladies' room or the men's room and get yourself all settled in so you can sit down with me for, shouldn't take more than a half hour, maybe 45 minutes. Who knows? It might go longer. I don't know. But today's video is going to be a little bit shorter than the dragon egg events. If you are interested in dragon egg events, they are right next to this video. It says orphan dragon egg adoption event, and that's a good 2-hour-long video, almost 2-hour-long video. But if you want to, you can skim through it till you see something you like and then slow the video back down, or you can watch the whole thing. I try to be entertaining. I may or may not be, but I try. Anyway, all right, so I have a missed call from my sister. Let me give her a quick call back. Call back. You are live on YouTube. Got 1 more minute.
Hello.
Hey, I am just about to start my YouTube thing. I'm actually live right now. What do you want?
I forgot about your live thing.
Yeah, it's right now. You could go on your YouTube on your phone and watch me be all, entertaining and whatnot. And we are starting in like 20 seconds. So
what are you doing after that?
After that, I don't have to go to the store and do some things. But today I'm going to talk about all of the things that aren't dragon eggs. Although I do have 3 new ones to show too. All right, I'm done with you. Bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Live I'm in Rochester. Live from Rochester. Okay, so good morning. My name is Antoine. I am a sculptor. I have a business that I travel with my husband, and we work in Renaissance festivals, which are currently closed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. That's my bird, if you hear my bird. Okay, so yeah, we've been closed down. We were shut down on March 13th. The last day we actually worked was March 8th in Florida, and then we came back to, we went back to Texas for a while. And then now we're back in New York. So I am here. Today I'm going to feature my artwork, which is not dragon eggs. I do have a dragon egg event video that's in a different location on the same channel. We also are in the process of doing a van build in our 250 Transit. It's we're slowly but surely getting things done, and that's kind of cool. And that's on a different channel called Old Folks and a Van Build. I'll put little links in the description down below so that you can find things if you're interested in those as well. I have 1 person watching, but I'm going to talk like there's a million of you. Okay, so like I said a second ago, I'm a sculptor. I use polymer clay, and I don't use molds or any type of preformed items to create the things I make. But so they're all truly one-of-a-kind pieces. It's been a while since I've been the one sitting in the fairy house talking about my fairies, so pardon my rustiness. I'm just going to get right into it. One of my favorite things to make, I'm going to start out with my tree stump candlestick holders. One of my very favorite things to make are tree stump candlestick holders. This is one of them. And get a little closer so you can see. It's got a brass candle cup, perfectly sized candle cup. And the reason I like to make these is because I have been out in the world and you look in the forest and you see the trees. If you walk around a tree and look at it the whole time, you will actually find its face. All trees have faces. And what I do is I make the form of a tree stump, and then I pivot it around until I see where its face belongs. It's like, there it is, there it goes. And then I put the face in. So it's kind of like when I'm out in the woods and I look around a tree and see them. And I don't know, it's one of my favorite things because you can do anything. This is one of them. I also have this one here. I have loud dogs and loud birds in the way. So these are two of them. I also have bigger ones. This one right here. Now the difference between something like this and something like this, you can see that the bark is completely different. This one right here takes 5 times longer than the other one, not just because of the size of it, but each and every one of these bark pieces is a pinch of clay made into a ball, rolled into a snake and placed and then pushed in so it's nice. This kind right here is a tooling. This is an actual sculpting technique. So the difference between this one and this one is quite great. I am going to kill that bird. No, I love my bird. This one right here is one of my favorite pieces. This one, unfortunately, reminds me of a friend because it's not very attractive, but she is. So this one right here is one of my favorite. At the top, you can see I have a little bit of the circles that would be cross-cut if it was a real tree stump. And the eyes are hand-painted on some of them. Some of them I use black beads. Some of them I use white glass beads, and then I paint them. So I've shown you these and this one. All of these right now are currently on my Facebook page, and they have their prices and everything on them. And you can go to Faeries from the Swamp by Antoine on the Facebook and find those. If you're not a Facebook user, you can message me below, and I will give you all the answers of what you're interested in. This one, for years and years and years, I thought I was sculpting my nephew, Casey. I didn't know why Casey kept coming into my fingers or why he kept coming out of my hands. But this one reminds me of Casey. And then I found out by looking through some family pictures that Casey is the spitting image of my dad. And my dad died when I was 2.5 years old, so I never really knew him. But I find it kind of awesome that sometimes he comes out of my fingers. So I must have made some sort of connection with him, even though I was just an infant. So this one reminds me of Casey, which is basically I've been sculpting my dad the whole time. So that's kind of nice. Let's see. You've seen these. This one you haven't seen yet. This one right here. Again, it's the tooling. It looks very similar to, well, maybe no, I did do this one with the other. I don't know. Anyway, this one right here. This is a double candlestick holder. So you can have two. That's what double means, in case you didn't know that. Okay, so here you go. This one right here. You can see the little face is part of the root stump, which is nice. It holds 2 candles. I like the ones that have the extra base down in here because it feels a little more sturdy to me when you put a candle in it. The smaller ones that you have a big candle in them, they feel like they maybe could rock, so you might want to secure them with either double-sided tape or maybe some Velcro or something. This one right here is another double one. And then I've got one more tree stump. And then I have to go let my scratching dog in the house. Now this one reminds me of my cousin Claudia. This is another one that if you can see the bark on this one, it is a much more detailed. This one took about 7 hours to make, where this one took about an hour. So I don't think I even showed you this one yet. There's another one. Now, all right, give me a second so I can go get my annoying dog in. Come on, let's go. Hurry up. Okay, here I come. So those are my tree stump candlestick holders, and they are, they're all available. I haven't fallen in love with any specific one that I would have to keep. There are a couple of pieces here that I saw this morning that, yeah, I'm not getting rid of, but I'll still show you what they are. Another thing that I say, a lot. Sorry, I just realized I'm saying a million times. So another thing I've been making again, I've started out making these years ago, are these little clips. They have a clip on the back and little faces in the front. I like this guy. So there's him. This little green guy. This was a little sad baby. And I have one more. And this one, I don't know, Mary, I don't know if you're watching this or not. This one right here reminds me of Josie. I think it's adorable. Totally reminds me of Josie. I don't know why I did a sculpture of Josie, but there she is. Another thing I create, these are not finished, but did you know that an ogre will eat a kitten without batting an eyelash? They don't care. They eat whatever they can catch. They eat puppies, cats. They'll even eat a baby, and we think that's wrong. So what I've done is we've find that if you chop off their toes, they can't run as fast. So it gives the kids and the puppies and the kittens a fighting chance. It's really about the kittens. Shh. Okay, this is an ogre toe, and they're cross-cut. We use one of those axes with the big, like a, I don't know what it's called, but there's an axe. Jacoby would know what that's called. Anyway, we use the axe, and it takes the toes out on each side. It doesn't miss the outside two toes, the big toe or the little toe. And so we use one of those, and it's way better than a flat blade axe, because those, sometimes you miss and you get part of the foot. And you really don't want to hurt the ogres. You just want to take the toes and give that push off ability, little deterrence in that. Anyway, these are ogre toes. These guys haven't been dirtied up yet. They come on a pendant. It is a necklace. And when you wear an ogre toe around your neck, you're telling the world that you're against the needless slaughter of babies and puppies and kittens by heartless, hungry ogres. Ogres are opportunivores. They eat what they can catch. It's terrible. So that's that stuff. I'll show you the 3 dragon eggs that I have. I'm going to get their little cards out so I can remember what they do. This one right here is my newest dragon egg. One of the 3 newest ones I have. There are 3 of you here. Hi, Kathy. Nice to see you. So this is one of my dragon eggs. It's a beautiful druzy. Beautiful, beautiful thing. The druzy itself is about 2 inches tall and about 1 3/4, 1.5 to 1 3/4 wide. It's a really, really lovely one. It's quite sparkly. It's got some really nice peaks in there. You can see. So this is an amethyst druzy. It brings joy and peace. It helps fulfill your dreams, provides protection from evil. It's beneficial for mental clarity. It lessens confusion and shows you the way toward hope. It also reverses hopelessness and relieves depression, eases anxieties, and improves communication. So that's the amethyst druzy, and that's really, really quite lovely. So that's one of the 3. I'm going to save the biggest and most expensive and best one for last. It's actually really, really cool. Okay, so this other one. Now, emeralds are a cool stone because emeralds to me are more like the wedding stone. This is a beautiful emerald in here, and the egg is fully texturized. And that's the emerald right there. It's a raw emerald that's been tumbled. And an emerald increases your spiritual awareness. It helps revitalize divine love. It increases psychic awareness. It's a strong stone of protection, a classic stone of love and romance. It enhances balance within relationships. It brings both passion and domestic bliss. This is why I'm thinking better than diamonds for an engagement ring. It brings unconditional love and heals heartbreaks. You know, all on the same thing. It's a serenity stone that's helpful for healing from abuse. It eases guilt and soothes your emotions and brings hope, forgiveness, and compassion. And all of those things, to me, are the things you need in marriage. I've been married for almost 30 years. And so it's not always a walk in the park. Love the man. Sometimes I want to hit him in the head with a shovel, but mostly he's a good guy. So anyway, I think this stone is a good one. I wouldn't mind having one of those on my finger. All right. Now, one more dragon egg, and then I'm going to move on to my sculptures. This one right here is one of the coolest I've made in a while. It has ammonites. It has 16 ammonites to go all the way from the top to the bottom. And I don't know what happened one day. I just had a piece of clay and I started playing with it, and this thing came out, and I thought it would be the perfect crescent moon type thing to put along with it. And my husband calls it a scorpion dragon, but I don't know what that is. So, but it's got a little bit of marbling of different reds and greens in the shell, and it's got the 16 ammonites. It is a size 5 egg. It's a really big one, and it's really quite spectacular. Ammonites are awesome. They're an earth healing protection stone. They provide insight. It assists in seeing the whole picture. It encourages survival instincts, and it brings stability. It also activates your personal empowerment, enhances spiritual will, and converts negative energy to positive, and releases your mental obsessions. That's this one right here. I don't have these listed on the Facebook yet. If you're interested, you can say 1, 2, or 3, or you can say the one with the ammonites, or the one with the druzy, or the one with the emerald, however you want to talk about it. Another thing we have are unicorn horns. These are replicas. I would never harm a unicorn. That would be heinous. Unicorn horns are pendants also. The variety of different colors. This one glows in the dark. The little yellow patch glows in the dark. This one has a little bit of a glow in the dark patch to it also. I have a billion different colors, billion different color combinations, and they're all hand twisted one at a time. And they are unique in color because I change colors all the time. I mix my own colors. So these are very cool. You can get 2 pendants for or $10 each, or 3 for $25 when it comes to these pendants. They're excellent little gifts. I got friends who wear them every day. It's very, very cool. Okay, next. I haven't made a bunch of these in a while. This is one of the ones I have remaining, but this is a cocoon fairy. These are really cool pods that I got, and I created the face and the hand popping out of there and decorated up, and we call these cocoon fairies. They come with wings. I don't have any wings out today, so I could go grab the book, I guess. But I have a whole bunch of wings. They're just not here this moment. So 3 of you are watching. Who are you? I see Kathy's here, or was here, but there's 2 others that I don't know who you are. If you want to just put a little notice down there in the chat thing, then I'll know who you are. Or you can remain anonymous. It's okay. This guy right here, the cocoon fairies started out. My fairies are not cheap. They take a good long time to make them, and they're not cheap. And now that I'm making other things and creating other things, the fairies prices have actually gone up. It takes me about 3 to 4 days to make one single fairy. So these guys right here, you get all of the neat, cool faces that I make, which is one of my favorite part is the faces. You get the face, but I don't have to take the time to make the body or make, I'll show you this one at the same time. Like this one, way more time to make this than it does to make this. So you can get all the charm and adorability out of the faces, but you don't have to pay the full fairy price. These are started at $125. These guys, my fairies now are starting at $500. It just takes so long to make them. And plus, you know, it's art. Okay, so these guys right here, this is my Christmas fairy. Now, your Christmas elf. So here's the thing about me. Thank you, Kathy. So here's the thing about me. I don't make your typical things. And when people say fairies, they think of the, you know, either the Disney fairies or the pretty, you know, Amy, whoever her name is, fairies. I forgot her name. My fairies are squatty little, fat-bellied, sometimes really big feet, really big noses. My fairies are from the swamp, not Louisiana, just a swamp. And my fairies are just a little different than what somebody else might think is a fairy. So when you're going into a place and you're looking for fairies, this may not be what you're looking for, but it's what comes out of my. I don't go into making any fairy any specific way. I know people who will draw a picture detailed to right down to the biggest details, smallest details, and they'll go ahead and try to duplicate it in clay. And I found that to be incredibly limiting and unpleasant. And so there's a lady who used to, or she probably still does, her name is Julie something, and she makes these amazing, beautiful little fairies, little teeny tiny things that look like perfect bodies, perfect little boobies, perfect hair, perfect teeth, perfect everything. And she does this amazing job at them. And I'm really impressed by that. And at first I tried really hard to make these beautiful little fairies. And I found it unpleasant and unsatisfying, and I didn't like any of them, and they weren't what I wanted them to be. And I put the clay down, which was terrible because I really enjoyed playing with the clay, but I didn't enjoy trying to make those things. And then one day I just picked up the clay and I was just playing with it, and I made a beak. And from that beak, I made a head. And then from that head, I made the neck and the torso. And then I made this really cool thing. And when I was done, I was like, ooh, that's cool. And I was really excited. And I thought to myself, if I stop trying to make a certain thing and just see what happens, that will be more fun for me. And this is what happens. I make things like this. And for me, coming up, I know I'm going to make a fairy because I start out with eyes and a face, but I know I'm going to make a tree stump if I start out with the brown clay and the foil. I know I'm going to make one of those things, but I don't try in my head to make it in a certain fashion or a certain way, because that is limiting. And I don't tell me what to do. I don't want anybody telling me what to do. So you've seen this guy. This is my Christmas elf. He stands probably about 6 inches tall. I don't know how tall he is. He's one of the taller of the ones that I've made, though. He's got ostrich feather hair, hand-painted clothing, sculpted over a wire armature so that they have a little more durability. These guys are a little, they're a little fragile. If you throw it on the floor or if you smash it against the wall, yeah, it's going to break. I do have a lifetime warranty, my lifetime warranty, that as long as my hands and my eyes still work, I will repair a fairy that you invest in free of charge. Even if you break it because you got pissed off and threw it at the wall. I don't care. I'll go ahead and repair it anyway. I do have sometimes some timing issues where it might take a little longer for me to get it repaired, but I do repair them for free. I always want you to have a good fairy in the house. This little girl right here, she's kind of cool. She's able to hold on to flowers or some other thing. You could put a pen in her hand or hold her up with a pen if you wanted to. It wouldn't be something you'd want to have lots of back and forth, pulling it out and putting it back in kind of activity, because she has thin arms, but there she is. And I got bridal lace and made her clothing out of bridal lace. Her hair is also ostrich feathers. And she's got hand-painted eyes. I have another fairy over here. I've shown her briefly a couple of times. I'll show her now better. She had two little sisters. They've gone off to their home. She is the third of the trio that I made, and I love her little tutu. She's got a little bit of flowers on her hair, ostrich feathers for her hair, and she's only about 3 inches from butt to top this way. She's a little girl. I haven't shown this guy. I've been threatening in the last 3 or 4 or even 5 dragon egg videos that I would show you the new fairy that I made. I still haven't dressed him. This little guy can't decide if he's a chimney sweep or the circus performer. He's, you can see, about 3.5 inches tall. I figured chimney sweep because he's a darker color, but he could be anything. I have this guy right here. He's got a hand-painted clothing. He's a frog, and he's a swimmer. He's got glass bead eyes. And now the last one that I have that's a sculpted figurine of is this guy. Now, this one has no clothes. He's got no hair. He's not finished. If anybody was interested in this guy, he's $650, and he is, I can customize his clothing to a degree. You can choose if you want it to be like earthen with leaves and whatnot, or if you want me to make some clothing out of fabric. You can also choose hair color. I anticipate he would have some white hair. I have some really nice, shiny mohair that I got. And here he is. This is his first viewing in the world. Let's try to get the camera to focus on him. Let me get you a little closer. There he is. I hope he's not blurry. So here he is. He stands up. He's freestanding. And he's about, I want to say, almost 6.5 inches tall, I think. Let me get out of the way. One of the things I like that I do on my sculptures is I like to make the waddle. I seem to make old people more than I make young people, but I love the waddles. I love making the little neck. I'm getting one. I don't love that, but I do love the fact that he's got a waddle. I made a couple of them. Boy, I tell you, that's just such a really cool thing. So he's freestanding. Can't stand him there because you can't see him from there. But I can dress him in clothing made of fabric. I can dress him in something earthen. I can put hair or leave him bald. I can do whatever you want to do. If you want me to finish this guy and you're going to throw money at me, I'll do it. Okay. So yeah, he's freestanding. I don't know if you can see that. See, look, mono hands. All right. So there's that. Now those are all of the figurines, the bodies, the fairies, I guess you would call them. Next, I'm going to show you my mushrooms. Again, mushrooms are one of my favorite things to make. They do take a little longer than the tree stumps, but they're very cool. I start out with foil for both the tree stumps and the mushrooms and make their shape. And then I cover them in up to 3 layers of clay, occasionally 4 layers. And then I do their tops. I put the gills underneath in the bottom. You can see them up here. And then I put their faces in. This is one of my more obnoxious face ones, but I like them. I have this one. Some of the fuzzy stuff on him. This guy right here. He's one of the newer ones I made this season. At the Texas Renaissance Festival, someone every year for quite some time came in and stole a mushroom on me. So I had to start putting them out of reach of patrons because it was like, it just seemed to be like, I'm going to go back and steal another mushroom and see how long it takes me to get caught. And I don't know who it is, but I think you're a jerk. And he or she stole some of the nicest ones I've ever had. And it made me really mad. So I had to put them out of the range of, see the gills? Out of the grab them and steal them range. Okay, there's 2. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more of those to show you. I like this one. I like the little innocence behind this one's face. This one cups at the top instead of being an arc. It cups, so you see the gills a little bit better when it's just sitting. This one has a little skin condition. I have another one here. All of the tops are different. I don't know if I showed you the top of this one. All of the tops are different. Sometimes they're patterned. Sometimes they're just speckled. Here's this one. This is one of the poison ones with the red. And here it is. Hey, baby.
Hi.
I'm live on YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
I don't know how entertaining I am, but 3 people have been here for a while. There's my husband.
Hi, how are you?
He's the one who sits in my fairy house at Texas and the other festivals in Florida. We do festivals in Michigan and Florida and Texas and in New York. He's the one that sells my artwork. Not because I don't want to, but because I sell the bath salts. And I have a whole bath salt store and everything. I sell tea, I sell bath salt, cooking salt. And I couldn't find anybody who sold it as well as I did. So I gave him the job selling my art. And I do the salt sales. So he does that for me, and he's got awesome stories about the dragon eggs. Sometimes he makes up stories about my fairies that bug me because that's not my story, but he's doing it, so I guess it's okay. This guy right here, a newer one that I've made. So what I'm going to say is if you're interested in getting one of these, I take PayPal, Square over the phone, which is credit cards or debit cards. I take Cash App. I take Venmo. And if I know you well enough, I'll even take Zelle, Z-E-L-L-E. That's a direct deposit right into my account by way of phone number. So if you do want one of these, my suggestion is to figure out at what time in the video that you saw it, like it was between this minute, and then that way I'll be able to go back to that minute and whatever and find out which one it was, and we won't have to say it's the one, but you won't have to come up with very many explanations of which it is if you just pick the time slot on the video. This one right here, can't see his face as well because of the shadowing. I like the top on this one. I think it's very cool. It's shiny. It's pretty. It's not really a pattern, but it's the placement is good. The underneath side, the gills are the same similar purple color. The mushrooms start at 125 and go up from there. Most of these fall into the 125 range. The tree stumps start at 65 and go up from there. So there's this one, again with purple underneath. This one's got purple and green and white on top. So that is the last of the mushrooms. The next thing I have are seashells. I call them sea urchins. A friend of mine in Florida went walking with her dog, and she got all of these snail shells. Apparently the animals were eating the snails and left the shells behind. So she gathered up a whole bunch of them, and she gave me a bucket of them for our anniversary. We always celebrate our wedding anniversary while we're in Florida, and it was a nice anniversary gift. These 2 are the only, well, I have 3 of these. I have these guys right here. They are pretty big. The snail shell itself is at least 2 1/4, maybe 2.5 inches from top to bottom. They're kind of heavy, but they're not bad. And you can just put these on your shelf. These can be in a bathroom in a tray or something. The clay does not get harmed by the humidity from the shower. So that's kind of cool. I got these 2. Wow, that looks just like Aubrey. And when Aubrey gets old, she's going to look like this. Haha, Aubrey. Okay, I've got a couple more of these. But they're not just faces. These have some hands in them too. This one, I don't know what I was thinking. I just was, I don't know. Anyway, I don't know what it is or why, but he's kind of cool. And then this one reminds me of a girl named Tricia. I think she pronounces it Tricia. So that's those two. Those are $85 each, all of them. This is a little one, little tiny one. You know, they're really quite roomy inside. It's kind of like one of those little cars. You get into a little car and you think, oh, it's going to be so cramped, but it's really quite roomy inside. Same thing with the snail shells. Babe? This is $20. It's just a little snail. One eye peeking out. Here's another little something I've made. Just like the cocoon fairies, but they're sleeping in their outstretched hands and bodies. Hands and feet sticking out. These guys are $20. I think they're funny. Everything's got little white fuzz because it's how I store them when I move them. The mushrooms and the candle holders, Kathy asked this question. Kathy, the mushrooms start at $125. The candlestick holders start at $65. And depending on the amount of time and work, and sometimes it depends on how much I love them, is the difference. Like this one didn't take as long as this one to make, but they're right around the same price. These are both $125. But this one, I just love it more. So I can't help it. I can't. So you got to grease my palm. If I love it, you got to really you got to make it worth my value. And like this one right here and this one right here, these are $65. Now that's mainly due to they're smaller. They didn't take as long to make them or whatnot. The mushrooms, every one of those mushrooms is $125 today because I have not, the ones that I love end up being more money, but they are, all of those are $125 each. All right, let me take a sip of coffee and then I'm going to move into my newest thing. Now, if you've watched any of my other videos in the past, you have seen some of these before, but I'm going to go through each and every one of them because they are not dragon eggs and I want to have videos that show all of the things. So there are still 3 of you here. I only know one of you. It's Kathy. So whoever else is here, thank you for joining me. Whoever else is watching after the fact, thank you for joining me. This is actually a really cool venue for me. My husband isn't with me today. He's outside doing other things. He just went back outside. But normally he does it with me and we do the dragon eggs because he's the dragon egg guy and he's got all the cool stories and whatnot. But for me, I really miss being able to talk about my sculpting. Having been selling the salt for the last 7 years, or maybe even 8 by now. Geez, I don't know. It's been a minute. Having been doing that, it's taken me away from the ability to talk to people about my art, and I really miss that. People would come in, and it was never as busy as it was before I had the dragon eggs, or since I've had the dragon eggs. But people would come in and we'd sit and we'd talk, and some people would walk in and just leave, and then other people would come in, and then some people would come in and they'd take the time to look, and those are the people I really got a chance to connect with and to talk to and to be able to talk about how I make things and what I do. And I miss that. I miss that a lot. I totally miss everything about festival right now, and I'm kind of going insane because I miss my people. I miss all of the activity around me. It's COVID does have its downfalls, by the way, besides that whole killing everybody thing, but I digress. Okay, my newest thing. I was making this fairy. Full disclosure, you ready? Full disclosure, I was making this fairy. I was day 3 into making this fairy, and I thought, my God, I need to make other things, and this is not even done, and it's taking so long. So I kind of grew not hatred at all. I mean, I still love to do it, but I grew a dissatisfaction with making something that takes me 4 days to make and only being able to charge the same amount of money as it takes me 1 day to make dragon eggs. So I just was having a problem with it. It's bad math. if I'm taking 4 to 5 days to make one piece and the price tag I put on it is $400, well, that's stupid. That's just stupid math. So I decided that I wanted to try to make things that didn't take as long. So I came up with this new line of fairies, and I call them pear bellies. Mostly they're not people. I did make this guy. He's one of the little pear bellies. But the rest of them, I seem to be making animals this season. I started out making an elephant a couple of years ago, and somebody wanted it, so I made another elephant, and then I made a bunch of elephants. And right now, some of my collectors already have them, but I have these really sweet little elephants. This is an elephant. He is about 3 inches tall, and I only charge $150 for elephants because I can make these in a much quicker fashion. Now, there is one down here that you're going to really have to grease my palm to get it because I just love it so much. Every time I look at it, I fall in love with it more and my heart fills up with happy. So I can't give it away for $150. But okay, so I have this story. My husband's grandmother passed away. This is not the happy part. I'm sorry about that. Oh, my mother. He's over there. He just came back and he's laughing. No, that's not the happy part. Okay, the daughter-in-law wanted me to make a rendition of her, and I did. You can find that on my website. She's called Gramps. But her daughter-in-law wanted me to make a rendition of her, so I did, and I sculpted her in it, and it took a good long time, and I finally fixed it, and I had to get extra pictures, and I had to put one little extra piece of clay on the nose to make it look perfect, and it was her, and it was like, oh my God, it's her. So I do portrait sculptures. This is a portrait sculpture. So I'm doing this portrait sculpture, and it's beautiful, and I send her the pictures, and I say, look, this is it. And she was very, very happy, and she gave me the monies, and it was nice, and it was lovely. And then she said, can you make me another one? And I said, no, because I only make one-of-a-kind things. One-of-a-kind things are, they're better. They're one of a kind. And if I make 2 of them, then that's not one of a kind. And she says, well, you can take a mold of it. And I'm like, I don't want to make a mold. I don't like that stuff. So anyway, then she offered me a lot more money. And I thought, okay. So I got some molding material and I made it. So I can be bought. I'm just saying. I can be bought. So you saw the one purple elephant. Here's another purple elephant. He's a little bit bigger. I'll hold the 2 together so you can see the size difference. See, one is shorter than the other. This one's a big one. My sister sent me a video. No, she sent me a picture of a real elephant sitting on its butt side like this, squirting water up out of its trunk. And it's a really cool picture. Maybe if I can edit this later, I'll stick that picture right here. So anyway, they actually do sit on their butts like this and play. And this is another one of these guys. And I have a even smaller one that's gray. Where are you going? Oh, okay, I'll talk to you later. I have a little smaller one that's gray here. And I'll show you the size difference between the big one and the littler one. See? It's a whole head difference in size. And then this is the one. These are all 150 each. This is the one. Her name is Tilly. And I got to tell you, I'm madly in love with Tilly. And I don't know if it's because she's got a sad look in her eyes or what it is, but this Tilly, she's adorable. And I'm madly in love with her. So I may or may not sell this one. If I do, she's going to be at least $300. I can't get part with her and feel good about it for less than that. But that's Tilly. She's a little bit bigger. She's right about the same size as this one here. Maybe a tiny, tiny bit bigger. But this is Tilly. So I have the 4 elephants. And then I was like, well, what else could I make with a pear belly? And I made dragons. One of the dragons already went to a home. I made a cat. Here's a dragon. Now I call it a pear belly because the belly is shaped like a pear. These are awesome because they're a little more sturdy. And I'm not worried about the arms breaking off because they're attached to the bodies. I'm not worried about the legs breaking off because they're really close to the body. They're really sturdy inside. They do have a foil core in the belly, and they're a little more sturdy. So this is one of my dragons. He's $150. Here's another dragon. This one took me a little longer, so his price is a little bit bigger. But there's another dragon. I love that cute little face. Look at that. I like these wings on this guy too. I like the wings. They also don't break off because they're attached to the body. So these, like I said, these are a little sturdier, but you can see the pear belly, the pear shape in the belly. And I decided to call them pear bellies about a month ago. I've been doing these since May or June, April I started doing the elephants. But these guys right here, the pear bellies, just got named pear bellies because I needed to call them something because it's my pear belly line. So that's this guy. I don't remember what price I have on Facebook, but he's $225. If it says something different on Facebook, I'll either win or lose, but he's $225. Now, then I decided I should have a mouse. So here's my little city mouse. My little city mouse he's a pale mint green. And again, real sturdy. If anything broke, it'd probably be his ears if he fell off the shelf. The hat is attached permanently. The bow is attached permanently. And I call him my city mouse. He's also $150. I forgot, before I made the mouse, I made a pig. Oh, I love his face. He looks so happy. If you want, I made wings for him as well, so he could be a winged pig. Some people like winged pigs. Or if you want him without the wings, he's plain without wings. There's his backside. Get a little corkscrew tail. And I love the ears. He's also $150. I tried to make a pig one day and it was like, well, that wasn't a pig at all. And I hated it. And I think I squished it and threw it away. But he's adorable. Okay, I've got a few more pieces. So I'm going to save the absolute best for last. My favorite piece. It was in the last video, but I'm showing anyway. This is my Christmas seal. He's actually a sea lion. My sister Deborah is he's not a seal, he's a sea lion. And you can't call him a Christmas seal if he's a sea lion. Okay. I can call him whatever I want. I'm a grown-up. I do what I want. All right, so here's his face. How adorable is that face? And I looked online and they have black teeth. How cool is that? He's got a little tongue in there. He's got glass bead black eyes. Also $150. I like the pear bellies. I can make them in a time when $150, which is an easy number for a lot of my collectors. And, my Faeries, my fully sculpted Faeries that took 4 days, I started them out at like you would have been able to come into my shop 12 years ago and get this for $125 because, well, I didn't want to ask too much. But really, truly, they take forever. And these guys don't. My pear bellies don't take forever. So that's cool. Sometimes they're a little more pricey. This chimpanzee, I made it a couple of weeks ago. I love his teeth and his tongue. He started out, first I made this pear belly. He had a black head and a monkey face. And I was like, well, that doesn't look right. So I cut the head off, popped it off, and put on a chimpanzee face. And then it was with the mouth closed. A lot of my stuff I make with closed mouths, and his mouth was closed, and he looked really sad. He very, very, I hate my life kind of a monkey, and I didn't like that. So I opened up his mouth, stuck a tongue in there, gave him some teeth, and he came out way more fun. All righty. So I have this is a turtle. There's his backside. There's his front side and his face. He is a sea turtle. Maybe not. He's got claws, so maybe he's just a turtle. Forgot sea turtles have those big fins, so he's not a sea turtle. I lied. Okay, so this guy, he's multicolored. You can see in his body he's got maroon to green. Some of it's gradient, some of it's just blended. And there's his bottom side. And I made every bit of it. Also a pear belly. This guy's a little more pricey. He's also $225. The extra time it took into here and this thing right here, because I really like him. Now this was my mom's favorite of the things I've been making. And this is my King of the Forest. It's a pear belly. This is removable. If you don't want him to be a king and you just want him to be a lion, he can be a lion without a king crown. But why would you want that? So here he is. I love that face. I love his little teeth. Like his tail. Now, with these guys, what I did was I used one color of clay, and then I went back in and painted. So the body actually is painted. Can you see that? Maybe you can. Yes, you can probably see that pretty well. But you can see the darker. The darker is what it all started out to be. And then I splotchy painted it. Like it didn't cover it over with a complete layer of clay. I splotched it and I dabbed every single thing with a teeny tiny brush. So it looked like it was almost like fur. I mean, it's not furry at all. And it does somewhat look a little unfinished, but it works for it. So I kept that. And you can see on the back side, it looks a little fuzzy and maybe a little furry. At least in my head, it does. Play along. It looks so furry. So anyway, and then I took a bristle brush and pulled out some of its bristles, and I put his whiskers in. See the whiskers in front of my finger? Those are bristle brushes, bristles from a brush. So that was kind of cool. Now I have one more piece, and then I'm going to say things about a couple of my friends I wanted to plug this on this video. And this, I don't know if I can get rid of this. I don't know. It would probably cost you $1,000 to get this out of my hands because I'm so madly in love with it. And it's my bear, and it's my dancing bear who's on break. And I look at his face, and I just, my heart fills up, and I just can't even stand how much I love this bear. And I love the teeth, the tongue, everything about it. I love that his jaw's all crooked and off to the side. I did the same type of fur on him as I did on the lion. I thought that worked really well. So when I made the lion, I copied this type of fur. I also, his hat and his bow tie are permanent, but I am madly in love with this guy. So yeah, he'd probably be did I have a dragon? And every time I looked at the dragon, the price went up. Every time I looked at it, the price went up. It's up to $3,000 for the dragon. And while nobody may ever give me $3 for that dragon, or $3,000 for that dragon, that's what I want. Somebody actually offered me $1,500 for the dragon. And I thought about it. And I was like, well, that would pay my mortgage for a month, and then I'd have nothing, and I wouldn't have my dragon anymore. And, you give me $3,000, I can go on vacation. And that might be a good trade. But this guy, I haven't stopped on my price yet. At this moment, he's $1,000 because I just love him. And he's a pear belly as well. So there you go. So now I have friends who are currently also unemployed as I am. They are circus owners, and my friend's name is Simone, and her husband's name is Trey. And they have the Culpepper and Merriweather Circus. Hope that's not backward. I don't know what you guys see on this end, but they have the Culpepper and Merriweather Circus. And because of the COVID-19, which has changed everybody's life forever, they have also been placed out of work until further notice. And like they have, they have to live too. If you go to the Culpepper and Merriweather Facebook page, they have links where you can buy merch. I got a baseball cap and a t-shirt. I have a hoodie. I think they only have a couple of hoodies left right now, but they have some really cool merch. If you want to help support them, that would be a nice thing to do. On Facebook, you go to Culpepper and Merriweather Facebook page, and they'll have all of that kind of links right there. I'll put that link in the bottom as well. Who else did I want to plug besides myself today? Culpepper and Merriweather and me. So that's it. I took a little less than an hour, so that's kind of nice for people who are watching, not to have to endure longer than that. For me and what we're doing in the future, I am still sculpting. I do not take custom orders for anything but dragon eggs or portrait sculptures. The dragon eggs, you can pick out the stone you want. You can pick out the color of the shell. You can pick out your price range. And then after that, if you decide you love it, you can go ahead and buy it. If you decide you don't love it, then there's no harm, no foul, because I will keep it for someone else to look at and maybe take home with them. The dragon eggs, I don't like anybody to tell me what it should look like at the end, other than color and size and cost and stone. So like, I want to have an amethyst druzy that's green instead of purple. Yeah, I can do that. I have plenty of druzys. I have plenty of stones. I have so many stones. And if you go to my Facebook page, the Fairies from the Swamp Facebook page, there's a currently available album. There's also a YouTube channel video of which ones I have and shown and talked about from 2 weeks ago. I am planning to do this about every 2 weeks, probably. I will come out and I'll show you the new things I've made. These are already shown. You won't see these again in other videos unless I'm just going to say, oh my God, look at my bear. Did you see my bear? How cool my bear is? I might do that because I love my bear. But mostly I'm going to talk about the new things I've made and keep my videos pretty short from here on out. My bird's a very happy bird. Sorry. I'm also going to do some videos with my salt cellar, which is the Himalayan salt with herbs and spices. I also sell tea. I also have gourmet cooking salt. So I'm going to do a couple of videos and put that on this channel as well. They will also probably be live. Maybe not. I don't know. I like the live, but I don't know if it's a little stressful. Not terrible. And the other thing we're doing is currently we're in New York and it's about to get real cold here. So we're going to probably go back south and hide out on our property in Texas for a while till this COVID passes better. We are not at the Texas Renaissance Festival this season. We were given the luxury of being able to opt out. Being old, sorry, I'm old. Being old and having health conditions that are not compatible with viruses that are insidious was important. And they give us and everyone the option. And we chose that option to not be there this season. It's unfortunate because I really desperately miss my job. I miss working more than anything. And, it's unfortunate, but it's actually a gift that we can not do it. One of our festivals in January was canceled, and I'm not sure if the one in February will open. We're hopeful, but unless it's safe, we may just only be doing live events for a while. So keep your fingers crossed, say a little prayer, vote, do whatever you can to try to make your part better. I am so happy you joined us. I'm so happy you joined me. I'm so happy you're interested and I get to actually talk to you even though you're not responding. And I'm thankful that you've joined me too. So that's it. Have a great night. Have a great day. Share this link with your friends. Oh, I know. Subscribe. I'm going to edit this video later. There'll be a little subscribe button right there that wiggles and does really cool things. So subscribe and like the video. And what that does for people like me is the more likes a video gets, the more YouTube algorithms will put it out for others to see. So liking and subscribing are really important to people who are trying to build a YouTube channel. And that's what I'm trying to do right now. So thanks for playing. Come see us again sometime. Bye.